Coach, you're immersed in the NFL on EA Sports. Coming up, we'll see teams with a couple of running backs who each went over 100 yards a weekend ago, as it'll be the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. Hello again, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And, Charles, we look at this Chiefs ball club. They've certainly found their groove of late, winners of 5 in a row.
And I think the sky's the limit for this team. They're playing the best football that they've played in a long time.
Meanwhile, for the Bengals here, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes it actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team, the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. This fielded at the 2. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Here come the Bengals now to take over. They'll be led out by the Red Rifle. From TCU, it's Andy Dalton.
Well, his ratio was good last week. Most quarterbacks are really excited about a 3-to-1 ratio, but it's flipped in the wrong direction. He threw 3 interceptions, not touchdown passes, and he only had the 1 TD pass in that game. So he's trying to turn that around and find a way for his team to win.
Call it a gain of 5, and that'll make it second down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
1st and 10 for Dalton. And his throw here's incomplete. The intended receiver was Laquan Treadwell, but it's going to be second down. Time for a look at our starters here on defense. And this unit, very tough to throw against, currently second best in the NFL.
And I'm struggling a little bit trying to really categorize this crew. They're top 10 in the league against the pass, but the bottom half of the league in sacking the quarterback. That doesn't make sense. Imagine if this group ever put pressure on the QB, they'd easily move into the top 5.
The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. And once again, not much running room, if any at all. No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Now on 3rd down, an extra DB out there for the Chiefs. Dalton on the draw to Mixon. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 18 yards on that one, and the Bengals are moving. 1st down. Defense had a chance to get off the field here on the opening drive, couldn't do it.
I know that we go into these meetings with coaches, and sometimes maybe we can get, a little bit numb because they're always going to talk about how important 3rd down is, aren't they? Offense and defense. In this case, one capitalized, and the other, as you said, had a chance to get off the field and didn't get it done.
Here's a pass swung out left to his running back.
I'm not sure that this play was designed for him specifically, but they got through the progressions and got the ball to him. So, second catch on the drive. He may not be a primary guy, but they definitely want him involved, don't they?
Absolutely. This early, the opening drive, as you said, 2 catches. So, if they looking for Green, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Juan Thornhill. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. He's coming off a 3-interception performance last week, so certainly not how we wanted to start here.
Not at all, but this is where a quarterback gets tested. This is where we find out what he has underneath that jersey, because he had a bad game last week. Can he shake off a bad start to this one and start to perform at the level he expects?
A little bit of daylight on that 1st down run sets him up nicely. 8 yards on the carry, 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay. dividends as the game progresses.
Bandit. He's checking. Yellow, 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 yellow. Let's go.
On second down, this is Harris. And they'll bring him down here right around the 17-yard line. North of 100 yards, the two scores. And, you got to give a lot of credit to the O-line. We talked a lot about him, but offensive line was good, too.
They're obviously in sync with each other, whether it's zone blocking, power running game, no matter what. He understands how to read them and find the creases that they provide.
He's not going to get me.
First down, and they go back to Harris. He's got a first down past the 30 and all the way up to the 37-yard line. That burst good for 20 and a first down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
And they will only muster a yard here to the 38. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Call it an 8-yard gain. Much better shape now on 3rd and just a yard.
That's a really good job right there. Just kept stringing that play out, pushing further and further towards the sideline. Really good fundamentals by that defense.
He was trying to put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. He just couldn't.
No, they really had a picket fence in front of him. No room to find to get upfield.
And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. Instead of a 3rd and 1 run, they go pass, and they get 12 yards out of it. So they'll come up in Bengals territory now with a 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Buying time to his left, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
You better be ready next time.
And, Charles, part of the reason they lost last week, they didn't have a single sack. Well, they changed that quickly.
But did they ever? And it was something they talked about with us extensively. They needed to get pressure. How were they going to get to the quarterback? Obviously, they schemed themselves into a great play, didn't they?
And some room to run now. And he takes this into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Tyreek Hill with a lucky number 13 touchdowns now on the year. And they are able to strike first here on their opening drive.
I know these wide receivers are about flash and dash and high-flying plays, but a good number of them played running back at some point in their career, and that's how they finish off a lot of their big plays, run after the catch.
And this time he finishes off the big play in the end zone. Butker now to kick this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. As the season winds down and you look at them in totality, the offense has struggled. The defense has been pretty good, so I would imagine the changes this offseason may be more on the offensive side of the ball.
And this is where we always hear the term complementary football, because as you noted, the defense has played well enough for them to win games, and the offense has held them back. So they've got to reward that defense by improving on offense. I don't know if you make a change at quarterback, running back, tight end. It doesn't matter. Get better players, better system, so they can play to the standards of the defense, and the win column will result.
Looking to throw again on second down. Dalton, he gets this in the hands of Mixon. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and they're going to have a 3rd down. And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively.
In your face.
From the gun, Dalton looks to throw. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Boyd. And he goes out right around the 39. First target, first catch, and a first down. 3rd and 4, he did just enough. I mean, just enough to move the chains.
And that's all you're looking for, right? Just want to keep the drive moving. You don't need the big play there. Just get to that marker that you described, and he was able to do just that.
Andy Dalton now, after the pick on the last drive, 3 for 3 to start this drive. It's 1st and 10. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down. And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
On 2nd and 12, Dalton. He rifles one that's intercepted. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick. There he goes left side. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown.
Well, partner, I do know this. If you're a defensive back, you have more chances to make a team now than ever because people are using 5 defensive backs, 6 defensive back packages. Not exclusively, but way more than before. That was a nickel package there, and what a pickoff.
Why is that? Why are they using that more?
Because more people are throwing the ball on earlier downs than ever before. This has become a passing league, and because of that, more defensive backs on the field on most plays.
Butker on for the PAT. And it's good to make it 14-0. A heck of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So now the Bengal offensive unit back out onto the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. To throw here, Dalton. His throw incomplete. He was looking for his favorite target, A.J. Green, that time. And it's 3rd and 4. Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. He's got his man here. It's Green. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
He used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this. When he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on 1st down. Jet sweep, Boyd with it, and that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. Calling a loss of 2 on the play, and they're going to face a 3rd down. Two minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. We'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. Caught Eifert over the middle. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Dalton to his big target, Eifert, for the Cincinnati first. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Here's Dalton. He finds his running back, Mixon. No gain on the play there. It'll be 2nd down. Now, they couldn't get anything going there out on the right side in the flat of the swing pass.
And didn't we have a discussion with their staff about wanting to get the backs more involved in the passing game? Huge emphasis for this game, but obviously the defense had other plans and really made a nice play.
They'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for 3rd down.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Here's Dalton. They'll set up the screen here to Mixon. And he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. Joe Mixon with touchdown number 8 on the year, as they are now on the board here in the first half. There are several elements to a well-executed screen pass. This one resulted in a touchdown. It had all of those elements.
Yeah, you're so right, because you really need to rush to almost get to the quarterback, almost get to the passer. Then you've got to get the ball thrown perfectly, whether it's to the running back, the wide receiver, whoever the screen guy is. And, of course, the blocking has to form in front to get him downfield for the touchdown.
And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards, up to the 27-yard line. And now here comes Kansas City. You're under a minute to go here in the half. Field position not really in your favor, but still time to try and move the ball and get in field goal range.
Yeah, you've got the lead. It's definitely a thought. Let's go ahead and try and increase it. But at the same time, I don't like the odds. I don't like where they are on the field. Got the lead. They've done well in the first half. Don't mess it up and go into halftime looking at each other wondering what if. Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. They'll keep it on the ground again here. And he'll just keep 2 hands on the football as he'll be taken down after a short pickup. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts, as it comes with 22 seconds to go here in half number 1. So a 3rd and 9 and 6 defensive backs out there in the dime.
Patrolling the passing lanes.
Mahomes going to throw. And that will be incomplete with a clock showing 18 seconds now to go.
They went with the dime look that time on defense, just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. Good open field tackling there, a 50-yard punt followed by just a 1-yard return. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. Just 11 seconds to go in the half as they have it 1st and 10. And they're just going to run it here up the middle. And he's going to lose yardage, not that it matters, as the final seconds tick away. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. So we have reached halftime with a touchdown. That's the difference on the scoreboard. As we'll send you down to Orlando, we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, time for a sprint to the finish, as it's time to get you caught up with what's happening around the NFL here in a pivotal Week 15. We'll get things started up at Ford Field in Detroit, and they are seconds away from halftime, all tied in that one. From there, we'll head down to the Big Easy. Check on the Saints at home at the Superdome. And right now, they have the lead over the visiting Dolphins. Alvin Kamara, over 100 yards on the afternoon thus far, with a touchdown run as well. Finally, let's get to Indianapolis to check on the Colts at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. And at this point, they trail the visiting Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson with 3 touchdown passes. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, appreciate it. A 1-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half. Here comes the Chiefs offensive unit as they'll have it to begin quarter number 3. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that, because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, Change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
See if they do just that. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. Mecole Hardman, the intended target, and it's 3rd and 4. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. They were ahead of schedule after the gain of 7 on 1st down, but the defense does not budge on 2nd and 3rd. Here we go, 4th down, Mahomes. Forced out to his left. Now he'll throw deep left side. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And the Bengals are going to get it back in terrific field position. So nursing a slim lead, and that is the opposite of protecting that slim lead.
All I can think here is that head coach, he knows more about what's going on with his team than we do. He must know something's up. Either he has trouble with his punter, right? He's worried about his defense. There's an explanation in there that we're going to ask for after the game, because in this situation, I wouldn't have done that in normal circumstances, but maybe he thought my best opportunity is with my offense.
Yeah, interesting. Back in their own territory. Now we'll see what transpires. And he'll take this close to a 1st down at the Chiefs' 18-yard line. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. And he won't be close to a 1st down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain that time, and they're going to be left looking up at a 4th and 1.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the 3rd quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
So a decent drive there to start the 3rd quarter. They only salvaged 3 out of it, but they inch a bit closer.
Yeah, but still lots of time to go in this one. That's why you hear that clapping on the sidelines, right? Hey, got some points. As you said, inching their way back in. Time left to go out and get that victory.
The Chiefs offense now making their way back onto the field. And on that last drive, went for it on 4th, turned it over. But good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on 4th down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here, because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3, and that's exactly what happened.
You think that factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down.
We've seen good cover skills on display throughout this game, really from both teams. And there's another nice example there of them making it difficult to complete a pass.
And a nickel look here for the Bengals as they try to defend this on 3rd. Looking to throw is Mahomes. Now they go screen. It's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. That goes for a Chiefs 1st down, 14 yards.
Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller said the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a 1st down.
And he'll be taken down by the Bengal pressure. Geno Atkins, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year. Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. Mahomes now to throw. Dancing to his left. And he'll lay out and pull it in. What a diving catch there. And he's got another 1st down as the tackle's going to be made at the Bengals' 37.
Well, partner, when you ask anyone other than your QB to throw the ball, you must have a lot of confidence, or you think you're really going to fake them out, and it looks like they did exactly that.
Yeah, going deep in the playbook and a great grab on the other end. takes this into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Travis Kelce with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Chiefs are able to extend their lead. A good, sustained drive there in this third quarter, capping it off with a touchdown to give them a nice 2-score advantage.
It was actually a fun one to watch, wasn't it? I mean, for me, seeing the mix of what they did, how they moved the ball downfield, very sharp, too. Each and every play seemed to be executed with great dispatch.
Butker now to add the extra point. It's good, and it's 21-10. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Cincinnati offense ready to see what they can do here. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4. That throw good for 4. It's second down. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you, because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means we're one big score away from being right back there.
Now the question is, can this offense step up and make that play, because that's been an issue for them in this game. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains.
This possession means so much for them. They've got to focus on this drive and find a way to make this a one-possession game.
Yes.
Got to get a score.
Yeah, so good with a field goal. Don't necessarily need a touchdown. Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. Tyler Boyd, the former Pitt Panther, was the target, but it'll be second down. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. To throw again, Dalton. And he comes back with one complete. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for third down.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Now on third down, that pass knocked down in the backfield and incomplete.
Well, he leads the NFL in interceptions and nearly added to that total.
Got his hand on it, couldn't quite corral it. It's been a Pro Bowl-type season for him, and the term ball hawk really comes into play, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that one a lot because teams want to avoid that type of a player, but sometimes you just can't. He just knows where the ball is.
And Eifert has it. The time to pull out the stops is now, and they convert there on fourth down. Andy Dalton now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. So Dalton now. He completes it to Boyd. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. The Bengals passing game finding a rhythm. They've got another first. Clock running, under 4 to play now as they come up on 1st and 10. Caught on the right side by Treadwell. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. And it'll be Dalton again. Under heavy pressure, and down goes Dalton on the sack.
Well, that was point counterpoint, wasn't it? They decided to throw for it on 1st and goal. Instead, the defense counters with pressure, and the defense wins, getting a big sack.
First down, a bit of a disaster, and now on 2nd and goal, back even further. Dalton bootlegs out. Well, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. Frank Clark in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. Well, they need to reverse the trend. The last 2 plays have gone backwards. Now it's 3rd and goal. Here's Mixon. Shreds the tackle. And he's going to lose yardage and be backed up to the 25. Tough sledding. They lose a yard there on 3rd. So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. The kick by Lambeau is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So you knew one way or another that they needed the 2 scores. They get the easy one out of the way. Now they'll get the ball back, hopefully.
Yeah, and the question is, how do you accomplish that? Do you onside kick it? Or since you have all 3 timeouts, do you kick it deep? To me, I'm playing field position. With all 3 timeouts, I kick it deep and try and pin them back there.
This is fielded at the goal line. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Here's the Kansas City offense now as they get set to take over. And this game not quite over yet. And we'll likely see them take all 3 timeouts defensively, so they can't just kneel this one out. They're going to have to try to run a few plays.
You're exactly right. They've got to get a first down and make them use up all their timeouts in order to feel like they have this one in hand. And
he'll be tackled just past the 35 at the 36.
You got him. You got him.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5.
You got to go right here. You got to play right there.
Go, 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 run. Easy work. It's easy work, and it's coming again.
The Chiefs on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 2. They'll try and run for it with Smith. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. The Bengals going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll get it with just over 90 seconds to go in the ball game. They're not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll run on 1st down. Thompson, and he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Now the Bengals going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout as they'll get it with just under 90 seconds remaining. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Now Thompson. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays. Consecutive plays now where that offensive line has really created a lot of space.
And we've seen the confidence rise, haven't we? It borders on arrogance now, and that's that good arrogance, believing you can run the football whenever you get good and ready.
Mahomes to throw. Got an open man. It's Ratley. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for 2nd down, staying ahead of schedule. 11 yards there, first down.
These guys are running offense like you drive. The pedal is down, stomp down. How about that? Back-to-back completions. They are rolling.
So much for being conservative and running that football. It's 1st and goal, and a late touchdown at this stage could officially salt this one away. And no signal yet. I don't think he got in. He didn't. They'll mark him at the 1. So now with 6 seconds remaining, we get a timeout on the field. They'll come out in the pistol. Another shot from the one on 2nd and goal. Back to throw. Mahomes. And it'll be intercepted. Good positioning, and it's picked off. Kelsey, the intended receiver there. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They have time here, partner, for just one final heave.
And I have to look at it from the defense's perspective here. We know what they're going to do on offense. The Hail Mary, try and get guys down there and throw it in the end zone, tip it around and catch it. You've got to have guys back there to defend that, but also you can't allow the quarterback as much time as he wants to set up and throw it. Maybe you bring a little extra pressure to make sure he gets rid of it quicker.
A little bit of a cat and mouse game. We'll see if they bring that pressure. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end, but they couldn't get it done. However, we were treated to really a spectacular affair.
Even though they didn't finish it off, you're exactly right. They took us down to the last play. We're still, you were wondering, could it happen? Possibly, even though we both knew it was a long shot.
So for Kansas City, they continue to roll as the win gets them to 12-2 on the year.